deemed the celebrity whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touch them. They're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby. This is good.
Taylor Ferber. Okay, this man joining me today, he puts and gives a whole new meaning to the expression, put your money where your mouth is. He definitely does that. And I get the feeling, just from spending a little bit of time with him, he doesn't like to be told what to do. And he gives a big ol' F you, bring it on to cancel culture. He fucks with it. He fucks with it. This man is a lifelong entrepreneur in industries like energy, natural gas, real estate. Okay, he's a digital asset investor. He runs Cardone Digital Ventures. He's been featured in Forbes, an entrepreneur, Business Insider. Welcome, Gary Cardone. God damn, Gary, leave some for the rest of us.
Hey, watch your language, man. You offend my sensitivities. My God is so small, he can be offended with words.
Well, I would just say to that we were having a little bit of fun before we hit record. So I would beg to differ that these
Why
guys
would I
think
have
that
fun
you're
with a
good time.
good-looking, Yeah, why would I have fun with a really good-looking, intelligent social media star? And by the way, where are the other women in the digital asset industry and media? I mean, we need all of you guys. You do such an awesome job.
Thank you so much, Gary, for the compliments. My goodness. But I have to say, look, I love dudes. I love men like yourself. But it's like the sausage fest can only persist for so long. You know what I mean? It's like we need to bring women in on the fold to talk about these things we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about power, Bitcoin, influence, politics. So let's do it without further ado, right?
Let's go.
Okay,
Let's do it.
All, Gary, how
Let's
are you?
inflate the sausage, man. Let's roll. We're going to talk about inflation and how to get through the whole value chain.
Even your sausage microphone is a little more, inflated than mine. But that
Yeah,
was not.
I'll
that
take
was-
the I'll
that
take the
was-
protector off.
Oh,
That's
Gary's mic just had shrinkage. Okay.
sometimes I just get a little too bold with a microphone. I got covered up. They tell me covered up, and it's a health policy.
I was
It
gonna
might
say art-
offend. I
art
might
gotta
offend.
be- Art
Yeah.
gotta be personified. Shrinking
Oh,
your
totally.
mic.
This microphone may be offended at Gary's voice.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Okay, let's get canceled, Gary. Let's do it. Because like I said, I spent a little bit of time with you here in Nashville for a Bitcoin conference. So long time no see. And something I said that you kind of jive with is this idea of cancel culture. We'll talk about how both of us are in respective social media purgatory, but let's just go out of the gates. I want to know, Gary, give the people what they want. What is your most cancelable hot take? Go. It could be about anything.
I see no reason why any government body entity would, one, have the right to cancel anyone, one individual. Secondly, I don't know I have ever said anything that would even possibly be qualification for being close to the edge of cancellation from anyone other than a complete bigot and enforcement freak who's probably a psychopathic narcissist who just wants to be in charge of something because they've never really created anything. I think that's what you're going to find most bureaucrats are doing because there's no measurement. No one has a performance metric by which they have to operate, so that those incentives are so twisted. It does not incentivize performance. So you end up with idiots.
And ain't that something that the people who try to enforce arbitrarily censorship are in the same breath fighting for quote unquote facts and information and democracy and science? I mean, what a time. Who would have thunk it, right?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that Mark Zuckerberg would go on mainstream media and in writing with his board's approval? Do you want to share?
Did you
Big
make the
notice, dude.
microphone peek into my notes through the Zoom? Because he went.
Hey, I told you to be careful when I take the cover off, sweetie. I mean, my goodness.
He's like, you did it not. What I was going to ask, I'd be remiss if I didn't start off asking just that. Can you believe, so for those of you who don't know, Mark Zuck, who I've made fun of this entire time, Gary, like, why doesn't he blink? I need answers. I'm convinced he's a robot, but he finally came out on record and talked about how the Biden administration pressured Facebook to censor anything about COVID, even satire, that, you know, he regrets it now and that they're ready to, you know, push back. He and, you know, the keyboard warriors at Facebook. And all I got to say is, you don't say, huh? I don't know about you, Gary, but I just was darn shocked. I mean, yeah.
Well, hey, you know what? I'm more shocked about this than I was about the Trump attempt, the assassination attempt. This shocks me. I don't think many people understand how big of a deal this is, that there's going to be now domino effects here, okay? First, what do we have? We have someone who 20 years ago, in a big high-profile case from the Winklevoss brothers, who are now really successful Bitcoin leaders, about the whole Facebook, them stealing it, right? Now we have another, 20 years later, we have another incident where Marky Mark, who all you guys and your children did business with, did you know that, like, he was part of the government and, like, there's felons that have been committed? I mean, he literally, this all came out last night.
Mm-hmm.
There must be some journalistic story getting ready to hit the market, because they for a board to do that of a multi-billion-dollar, $60 billion company, he is literally trying to get out in front of a fucking train wreck, because this has so many consequences. Hey, Google, did you do the same thing? Hey, CIA, who was running all these programs? There's going to be class action after class action after class action. And when we all realize free has not been free at all, it's cost you all of your data and your privacy and your freedom. Yep. Okay. And you might even have an RFID that blows up in your car. Who knows? But, like, this is such a scary time. This is a police state, bar none. Now, I'm glad this is happening, because they're going to start eating each other. Okay. This is what this is going to do, I think.
So I have to tell you, Gary, what you're saying is fascinating. And you're insinuating it's not as, you know, truth-seeking, altruistic as it seems. Like, there may be some self-serving stuff here going on for Mark Zuckerberg, because you're saying he's about to get into some deep shit. But I actually wasn't as surprised as you were. You said you were more surprised by the assassination attempt, because did you see shortly after Mark Zuckerberg came out and praised Trump for being such a badass in that moment? Like, him, Jeff Bezos, I was like, my eyes did not deceive me. I was like, what? So I'm not totally surprised, but is this, given that you're like, they're about to see you know, knee deep in shit, is it self-serving? Where is this really coming from?
Well, I mean, if you think a new lard's getting ready to come in, and you have been making lots of money on trying to destroy the old lard, one, you're either just capitulating, going, oh, King, I predict you're going to win, and I need to be in your administration. Or do you get out in front of it for so many other reasons? I mean, maybe there's lawsuits we don't know about, but I cannot remember a time in history where a public company, in fact, I was trying to look this up, where a public company would make such an admission. And this just opens Pandora's box. I mean, all the lawsuits, right? Then you got to ask yourself, hey, what were the regulators doing? What was the FTC doing? Okay, what was and who was involved? And was this a RICO thing? Meaning, like, racketeering and, like, structured, organized activities among the largest companies in the world? What if there's, you know, a lot of little touchy pieces? I can assure everyone, I have never worked for the government and given my customers away, okay?
He raises his hand. Gary,
yeah,
I'm clear of this shit show. But Gary, I am truly baffled by people who are so naive or so on the side of government to think, I mean, this just proves it. It exposes it. But to think, no, wait, why would Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, big tech, be in bed with the government, be in bed with big pharma? No, they're all just looking out for us. And I'm thinking, are you depleted of half of your brain cells? What are you even saying? It is so obvious to anybody not in the matrix. Is this not all about control and power? Somebody would say, well, what would Mark's or what would the Biden admin's incentive be? P.S. The shout out to, did you have Matrix on your sweatshirt there? I love a Matrix reference. Yeah.
No.
Oh, in the making. I'm sorry, I thought it said in the Matrix. Trillionaire in the making. Yeah, facts. But is it really about control and power? I think so.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's stunning to me. Okay, like this admission came out, and Facebook's price was about $5.13, and now it's about $5.13, $5.16. Price doesn't do anything. Okay, like you had one of the largest announcements ever. No one's talking about it. The CEO and majority shareholder of Meta says that they cooperated with the U.S. government divisions to thwart the 2020 vote.
Right.
I mean, there's so many implications here. They also supported and encouraged people and then muffled and pushed certain articles on COVID. Is that negligence or is that gross malfeasance and like you actually participated in killing people? This is heavy duty, I think.
Mm-hmm. And we keep, this isn't the first time. I actually have a little fun fact for my viewers about you that ties into all this and kind of like you'll see. Not that you're, conspiring with the government about COVID. No. Fun fact about you. Tell me if this is true or false, Gary. You were one of the youngest CEOs of a Fortune 50 firm among the likes of Jack Dorsey, who was also in that. Is that correct?
I was part of a Fortune 30 company in the 90s that was called Dynegy, and I was the CEO of Europe. I was not say I was the CEO of the main corporation, so it's a little misleading. I don't know where that marketing's from.
Oh, I saw it in a previous interview that you did, but regardless, I wanted your thoughts on why this keeps, right? Like Jack Dorsey did this as well after he stepped away from Twitter, being like, yeah, we had our arms tied. We were, we regret it now. It's sort of like the pattern that keeps happening. So I wanted your thoughts on Jack Dorsey, Zuck, and also I saw that you said that a Twitter post Elon is not as toxic. So again, looking at it at, kind of a big picture, these dudes, running these huge media beasts. And again, why do they keep doing this where they like regret it and, it's like, where was
well, yeah, what can you say, right? I mean, you can't say it's very cool. I mean, it goes against some of these guys' marketing message. There is a message now. If you're a banker and you're Jamie Dimon and you're selling margins, but you're not selling yourself as an angel. So I think it would be really difficult to run one of these. I mean, one of the things we're having to fight with also is the social medias. Okay, well, let's say we get our act together, which we won't, because there's not enough offense over this. There should be grave offense over this. You can just see how it's being pitched in the market right now. This isn't big deal. Their stock price didn't move. What world does this happen in? When a corporation says, hey, I committed major felonies, okay, and their stock price doesn't go down. Can someone tell me? This is what people should be looking at. Whoa.
Do you think, Gary, it's because the media is also in the bed with this like corrupt menage a trois nightmare, and or the people who are in bed with them or believe in it or are so like brainwashed and willing to look past it or willing to just not even give it merit? Like, what is that? Because you're right. How could that not be happening? It's insane.
Well, because I think that it's really hard to understand. Like, once you actually think about what just happened, this is fucking heavy. Because now, I mean, if you walk, like, Google is going to have some questions. Hey, did you do the same thing? What happens when they say yes? What happens when they say no and there's evidence to the contrary? This is like Pandora's box. They're going to start all doing this.
Shit's going to get real.
I mean, just in the last 24 hours, Mark, who gave hundreds of millions to voting fucking machines, dude, he just said, hey, Biden and that other team, they were the bad guys. I was convinced to do it. I'm sorry. Okay, he's a wimp. Okay, he's basically saying he's a victim by the witch, the wicked witch of the West. Like, they're already throwing each other under the bus. It's a big deal. And I think he's making an offer. I'm going to vote for Trump.
It is,
man, look,
the Hunger Games in this bitch. And I wonder.
Total Hunger Games. Total Hunger Games. And
I wonder, you know, RFK's running mate, that woman who was married to the CEO of Google, is that right? Or one of the big dogs at Google. I wonder if she is gonna be even more vocal about this, like you said, when shit starts really hitting the fan.
Oh, there's just too many people involved. It is going to come out in the open what happened, right?
One way or another, we'll see. It's about to get interesting. But that's where...
Well, it's probably time for everybody to really reread their Constitution and actually understand, hey, what just happened for the last 10 years, 12 years?
Yeah.
Because I think every constitutional right we have has been violated multiple times and overtly. Okay, like.
Oh, I agree.
Gross planning.
I'm a little existential in this way, Gary, and I fear that, like I said, people are such non-player characters and in the Matrix and brainwashed that they didn't see it this whole time. So all of a sudden, it's gonna, like, what is it literally gonna take? So
yeah, you're a fighter because you're like me. I think people are just gonna roll over.
Oh yeah, but
you agree?
In the meantime, there's us. Leave it to us, guys. Someone's got to do it. But that's why I am, and I'll pivot. But that's why I'm really, really excited as, you know, a content creator and a voice and someone, you know, with a brain who thinks and uses it and is a free thinker for blockchain and Web3 and all the promise it has to offer in terms of none of this bullshit when it comes to ownership and freedom and transparency. But before we pivot and kind of sink our teeth into that, while we're on this, I've been learning more and more, Gary, just about, like, I'm an educated 30-something woman, right? And it's dawned on me that financial literacy in this country on the whole is so sad. And to me, you know, and you would know about this, you know, more than anybody, but having financial freedom seems just as innate as breathing and eating and sleeping. And yet we have such a warped view of it, of like the them, the haves, the have-nots, the us versus them. What is that about? Because again, I don't mean to have a tinfoil hat, but I can't help but think that it is all about control. Again, keep the people working poor down because they can't be more powerful than us. Money is power. Am I crazy? He's like, yes.
I don't know. I mean, I thought I knew where you were going on the. I think if the facts of life is that there's always going to be a bell curve, right? There's going to be the haves and the have-nots, and there's going to be what we don't talk about is, hey, are the haves and the have-nots related to doing and doing nothing, right? Because that's the extreme. Massive amounts of doing, psychotic doingness, right? You met a couple of, there's a lot of women like this actually, and some guys like they're very successful, but it's just constant action. And then you got the person that's zero action. So are they correlated? Like my life since I was 21 years old, started cleaning my shit up, has been just action hero, man. Action. And it's resulted in wealth. Well, gosh, I ran up the escalator faster than other people did and kept running. And I think you're going to find that bell curve is going to be consistent throughout the future. The cool thing is no one, like, very quickly can say they didn't have the ability to add 20 points to their IQ through AI, which lets them leapfrog that escalator. And also that you could be buying Bitcoin if you had half a brain to figure out that you can also leapfrog your wealth process as the seesaw of this planet goes from analog to digital. And there's a wealth transfer for those people that bet on that digital world. Okay, we're going to generate the benefits of that, right? Everybody that went in early and held on and really understood what it was doing. In fact, I would say dedicating careers here. We become fabulously happy and wealthy. How's that for a pitch for my new college I'm releasing?
Are you really?
We're doing this? Yeah, you and I as a joint project. Didn't I tell you?
Where was this?
Talk to me, Taylor.
Is it Talk to Me University? Talk to Me in trillions. That's what I'm talking about. You combined both of your merch and mine. There we go. The university needs to turn this ship around.
I think this is my brother's merch, by the way, but
you're representing, though. It works.
I did like the absurdity of it, because if I live long enough, I will be a trillionaire.
Well, I particularly
which is so stupid.
I liked the little nipple flick that you did on the trillionaire. I don't know if you noticed you did that. That was my selling point.
Hey.
You already had me sold, but that really did.
Where did I do it?
Right there. No, you didn't even realize it was a little. Exactly. That was a selling point for me, not that I needed more. Exactly. Dirt off the shoulders. Well, Gary, I just want to take a minute before we talk a little bit more about Bitcoin, you putting your money where your mouth is, like I said earlier, and politics. I really feel like this will be your jam. Okay. I feel like I'm just going to give a shout out to my partners here who are reinventing rideshare on the blockchain. Like I said, I feel like that would be your jam because like big tech, I feel like rideshares are super like controlling, greedy, right? Do you have any like qualms with the rideshare situation right now?
Do I? Not really. I mean, I don't use it often.
Oh, that's fair. Fair enough. Okay, I can't argue that. But
I'm one of these control freaks, you know.
Oh, we'll take that offline. That is my life story. It takes one to know one. But this actually would be really great for you, Gary, and anybody else too who is looking to get their feet wet in blockchain, because Revo is a new cutting edge rideshare app in which it's on the blockchain, and it allows drivers to make more money and riders themselves to tokenize so they can get rewarded and get money. Like, is that not badass? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of applications that make a lot of sense for, moving smaller amounts of money across the whole value chain that serves that, right?
And again, like I said, that transparency and security, because right now, like many of these things, there's a lot of like people in the shadows running it. Like I said, whether it be tech, rideshare apps like this, and we don't really know what's going on. So I appreciate this and Revo for, bringing light to this whole situation, giving more power to the people who use it. So everybody check out Revo. Baby. Check out Revo, yourself included, Gary. What was that?
Revo. I wrote it down. I said Revo, power to the people, baby.
That's right. I'm like,
I need some 1972 kind of blues back here on the back of that. It's a good promotion.
Oh, a little like elevator voice, perhaps. Make it. Yeah.
I think it's a little more aggressive than that, a little more bangy than that. No elevator music, please. Come on, it's so boring.
True. We're cooler than that. We're hipper with the kids than that. But Gary, speaking
Taylor.
of,
yes, Taylor.
Okay. This better be right this time, okay? Because I saw it was coming from your site. So if it's not, we got some probs here, Gary. You sold a $2.5 million mansion for Bitcoin to prove you're all in, and you donated 12.8 Bitcoin, equivalent to 852,000 to Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. He's like, can confirm. Fact check correct.
That is confirmed. Yes.
Confirmed. Glad to hear it, Gary. So you also said, in terms of the latter, that it is the most important moment in world history. So talk about, in both of these cases, what that means, putting the money where your mouth is, and why this is so important, whether it be Bitcoin, politics, where the two collide. What do these actions mean to you? Why are they so symbolic and significant?
I've referred to the term buying a seat at the table. And what that means to me, because I'm sure many people will go, oh, he wants to buy a seat at the table. It sounds so nefarious. But if we really look at it, like, there is someone going to influence these politicians. It's clear to me that the influence that's been peddled out on Washington, is not helping the vast number of people. Just go grade it, A, B, C, D, or F, just like you were graded in elementary school. Okay, and let's just grade everything we're doing, and agree that if it's failing, we should call it out and stop the funding of it. So the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to help. Look, there can be 10. How much money is the Democrats? $10 billion just to run this campaign. So they're not going to do that. You're not going to win this game without putting some chips on the table and getting those jets that have to go between all these campaign places in the air. It's just a function of the game now. I wish it weren't that way. I've never given any money to any politician in my life, and I would just ask everyone to understand, hey, look, I could have literally gone direct to Trump and had a relationship with the Trump family, but I literally went around Bitcoin for a reason. And because that is my message, I'm supporting Bitcoin. I'm not supporting a political administration, although I think Trump is absolutely the right guy at the right time with the right 4-year, let's go smash and grab this thing and correct it. Otherwise, this little teenager that's been allowed to go on every drug, act like a bitch, a whore, slut, sell everything. This entire family is so sick. It needs to be reformed. And you're just going to have to go in there and really suffer the pain of it, or continue doing what you're doing. But it's failing. So that's why I did it. Now the house one, it's not a castle. It's a $2.5 million house.
Okay.
It was absolutely the right thing to do. I'm underwater right now on what I did, but I think a home as your primary residence and/or as an investment, if that's the way you look at it. If you look at it as an investment, it's the worst investment you could ever do if you think it's an investment. If you made money on it, it's because you got lucky. And usually you make money on it the moment you buy it, and it never really improves over that. Your return just goes down and down. Yet humanity believes that you're smart to buy real estate. It is the most simple investment in the history of mankind. You do not have to be brilliant to buy real estate, whether it's 1 unit or 1 million. It's a dead simple business, but it doesn't mean that it's priced right. And by the way, more billionaires have been made by building things. Okay, and finding oil and finding Bitcoin and building technology and then selling that technology. That's where the billionaires come from. Great innovation. But real estate does really well to hold the value, long term, and generate some income. But extremely safely. It's just not brain surgery.
Well, speaking of not being brain surgery, something that you said once recently, see, I did my research, Gary. I did my research. Is you made a comment, something about how, I actually really appreciated this, and I think that I'm getting the essence of it right, but it was something to the effect of how Trump almost communicates like a fourth grader, and how too often in business, politics, finance, Bitcoin, people try to be too highbrow about it, and you lose your audience, right? So an appreciation for that, which I'd agree with that. I want you to, in this manner, in your own words, right, describe to my audience the beauty of Bitcoin, crypto, and the potential that it has and why you so fiercely believe in it. Because I'll say, you'll be proud of me, Gary. I own Bitcoin. I set up my crypto wallet. And when I say autonomy, this really, it gives you the, I call it a code, but I know it's not called that. But basically, you are your own bank. Like, you lose that, you're fucked, and you can't get access to your own money, right? So, also, sidebar, I heard in your last answer, your little whore, this, that, and you called me out earlier for being a potty mouth, so I'm just going to say we're equal in that regard. But explain to my peoples, you know, on a human speak level, the power of Bitcoin. No pressure. Take it away.
The power of Bitcoin. I think if most people are not doing this, right? Most people are not carrying this in their pocket anymore. You have any of these in your pocket?
Sadly, I do, but I'm 100 on the inside.
Yeah. Okay.
But actually, not that kind of 100. Yes, but you know,
no, but
he's holding up a
$20 bill or whatever. You don't have much. Most people don't even carry any. I never go anywhere without it. If you're ever anywhere, and I'm in the same place, and something goes wrong, always remember, Gary always has cash. Okay, because I will always be the first and the most secure exit out in a danger situation, for sure. Okay, this stuff, it's unbelievable. Okay, I'm not a Bitcoiner that thinks that this is going to die. This has been sold really, really poorly to people. This has nothing to do with the Fed dying and the U.S. dollar going away. What it has to do with is that most of your audience is probably 35 years old. They probably remember having a record player on vinyl, listening to music like that, right? Probably their parents. Oh, yeah, I remember them doing that. Mm-hmm. Who's using any of that stuff today? Okay, I remember the 8-track tape. All right, some people will remember the cassette. You'll remember the CD. None of that survives, okay? Nothing with mass is going with us in the future. It's all digitized. Everything you do, we do, we're going to have measurements on our health. We're going to know, oh, shit, I've just got a grain more too much sodium. There's so many cool things about this. Why is it happening? Because it can for the first time ever in humanity. We have this, man. We have a phone. Once you have that, you just connected 8 billion people together. Now all the pipes are getting built. Okay? Virtual pipes. Who cares? You don't know how your car works. Don't worry about all this, how it works. I can send money to you right this second.
Right.
Okay, period. I can do it on Cash App. Please send it to her wallet address right now. For the next 12 seconds, you get to send her $1 million.
There's that ASMR voice.
So there's a very, very good application where if someone wanted to send you $100, okay, and it went over YouTube, a la Google, they will take 33% of that from you. Okay. Now I send it to you in Bitcoin. I send you the same $100. It costs me a fraction of a penny, and you get to use it right then. You get to get all your desires satisfied instantly without any worry about, is this going to actually bounce? Right? Yeah. Now that's perfect liquidity, something that you have rarely ever seen. Perfect liquidity. You see credit card liquidity that never sells, 180-day settlement. You can file a chargeback. How many chargebacks, baby, have you fired? I want to talk about your little dispute shadow back there. How many disputes have you filed in the last 4 years, naughty girl?
I am off the record, cannot confirm nor deny.
What? I got it.
But
chargeback offender, habitual chargeback offender alert.
I'm going to be hearing this voice in my sleep, and guess what? I'm going to love it. Gary?
At least 11. I think you filed at least 11 chargebacks in the last 3 years.
I'm a very good girl. I'm very financially responsible.
No, filing a chargeback is an excellent way to remain responsible in your wallet.
Don't overlook a blonde doing her finances. Gary, that's all I got to say. Okay. I have to sadly let you go soon. This is so much.
Yes,
we're going to hang out when you come back to Nashville, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That is on the record now. You can't get out of it now.
Since you've been doing this interview, by the way, the price of Bitcoin has fallen So
And I
it's
had
not.
nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay. Oh, there it's bouncing right now. It just made a $3,000 move. Is that you?
A five
See you now.
blonde has more power than you would think. Exactly. I'm pulling all the strings. Zuck thought. I want to end on a political note because don't we all, isn't everything inherently political? Why not? So it's interesting, Gary, that you said, while I, donated to Trump, I'm not, inherently all for backing or live and breathe by one political figure, right? In recent history.
No, I said one political party.
Oh, party.
I believe there must be one leader. Okay, there can only be one captain. And the captain needs to make a decision and everybody else follows. It has to be one captain. He's running the ship. But I don't believe that you can have two parties. This is a disaster. It's like breaking up a marriage, okay, without a mediator. Okay, it's your side, it's my side. I know, okay, I didn't give you what you needed, honey. Oh, you know what? You treated me like shit. We never get anywhere.
Wait, but is it
it's very much like the divorce?
Is it one ruling party giving like authoritarian regime? What are we saying here?
All I'm saying is the two-party system, you would never have a board. Invest $10 million with me, and no one sits on my board. No, invest $10 million with me, and let's just have two board members. Even worse, because nobody ever agrees on anything when there becomes a conflict. So what do? You just keep getting further and further apart. That's all they're doing, okay? They're driving us further and further apart. Are you vaccinated? Okay, I'm going to put you in a box over there. I'm not vaccinated, so, right? This is what every game played on us since 9/11 has been to put us in the house and polarize us from the other side.
Yeah, that's actually so true. And I always say it's their own political or, power gain. And how does it actually, benefit us? I will say, though, on the other end of it, I think of it, it's like, okay, but then is the flip side of that like a socialist society, which is a nightmare, which also something I wanted to ask you is why capitalism is continuously demonized to the youth and how the youth on the whole just have a vendetta against capitalism. And it's like, babe, it's made your life. You try a life without it. Let's see how that goes for you and like talk to me then. But anyway, that's just where my head went with that thought.
So you think there's the youth is driving this whole socialism thing? I don't think. I think they may be, but their parents must have taught them or allowed this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know if it's in schools, but I see it all the time and time again. Oh. I hear it with, people, just I hear it, see it, and it's continuously among young people, how like capitalism is so bad and this, and it's like, it's just so ignorant. It's like, okay, like, again, I frequently wonder where are they getting this from? Just something.
Well, they're going to be complaining about Robot 231 Phase 16 that they will be competing with for $2 an hour. And they'll have to work 14 hours a day. Oh, dude, like this world is getting ready to change. It's an opportunity for people to get creative now. Okay, it is, right? So you're bringing value to people.
Thank you, Gary. I didn't even pay him to say that. See, guys, that was just out of the goodness of his heart. Okay, Gary, last kind of question for you, though. You sat down with Vivek Ramaswamy, who I'm a fan of, Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. I know you met Trump at Bitcoin conference. So this is a twofold. A, is it risky for you in business to be associated, quote unquote, right, with a political party? And B, meeting and talking with all these people, is there sort of an underlying commonality between all them, just in your personal experience that maybe we wouldn't see or know?
Well, it's costing me dearly. I was in I had a news article written about me a week ago about a case it's the weirdest case in the history of mankind. It's a class action RICO case, which is pretty serious, right? I've never had a consumer or a customer that's a consumer, so I'm not sure how this falls in that purview. But when you see Newsweek articles. I guess one, oh, wow, I made it to the big time. I got newspapers talking shit about me, but they're always linking in, oh, a large Trump donor. What does that have to do with that? This case that's 8 years old company. And I settled an FTC thing 2 years ago, over $100,000. I mean, where they literally, the enforcement nature of this regime, these type of people don't stop, okay? And the regulation itself, the process, it's so undefined. When they send you a letter, this is why I've just, I'm going to have interest in a technology company called Node 40, and I acquired it because I wanted to be, I saw a technology that could perfectly, efficiently, down to the 0.0001, take large pieces of data and place financial value on, right? And this is the way I see, we're going so digital, everything. Your people are going to send you $1. Okay. I mean, imagine you having 30,000 people send you $1 a month. That is a much better model for all of those people than you taking advertising dollars, because then you can speak your message, right? People have to go through this paradigm. You're getting ready to have all your freedom lost. This lady is getting ready to be removed from video, or you won't be able to find her. Okay. And it's because you have been letting Facebook steal your shit, stick a proctoscope and a dildo right up your butt and look at everything you got. And now they're monetizing the shit out of it. And this is not cool. You weren't told this was the game. You were a naive player in the game and you've been exploited. And I mean, when you found that, you're in the closet with the government and you're having sex, carnal knowledge and activities between each other, this is not getting any better, okay? These people have to lock all this shit down, or we're going to really have this new moment, this 1960s, hey, like, let's have a inspirational moment and actually do something, which is really to plug the camera in, okay? The way I am being hammered. Now, I can't keep an account with Instagram up, but I don't care about Instagram.
Same.
But what is amazing is, and the reason I bought this company was I tell everyone, I said, when a government's 3-letter agency sends you a letter, it doesn't matter whether you're guilty or not. The letter comes and instantly you go, oh shit, I need a fucking lawyer. Okay. And your lawyer's probably going to be $400 and my lawyer's $1,800. So then the clock starts and the government doesn't do anything quick. And the sad thing is, this is what I really want, because I'm asking to be put on the administration. One thing I would love, hey, Trump, anybody sues anybody, the loser has to pay all the fees. You want to cut all this litigation shit out? Sure, let's have a lawsuit. The loser pays. Half divorces. You go to divorces and the kids, every state mandatory. It is assumed 50-50, period.
Yeah.
That would remove so much legal shit, man, because the lawyers are able to navigate this gray crap. This is easy to fix, but we need to take aggressive action. And I would be a criminal if I'm not willing to suffer this shit, okay, that what these people are putting. One, I ain't going to be quiet about it. If I'm quiet, I'm part of the problem. And so I'm trying to make an example. Okay, I'm being attacked. Maybe this is why I'm here. The guys that created this country didn't do it in that fucking air conditioning unit talking to a beautiful woman on video. Come on, man.
Although it's not a bad place to be, no.
No, it's an awesome place to be, but you want to keep it. And I'm telling you, it's getting ready to be. You and I can't do this.
Right. I also love that concept. It's almost the idea of like, you make a bet and loser buys a round of drinks. Kind of black, right? I mean, when you think
that sounds like a fun game. I'll come to Nashville 2 weekends from now to play that game with you. Hey, nobody tell anybody. I just said that.
You're on. Don't what?
No. It was a waiver.
And then is there, like I said, a common thread between, is it that sort of mentality? Or is there a common thread between all these people you've met and spoken with who are, high prominence in the conservative party?
I mean, I think the ones that I'm hanging around, they care.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see their. Look, I've only been doing this for a year. I meet with every one of them. I met with Vivek, thinking he was going to be the typical MBA, well-educated Indian that was going to, at some point get frustrated with my lack of IQ and my roughness. And dude, I couldn't shake him. I like you, man. I liked him. Okay, he shows up in my house, walks in my house. No big security detail, no encore. Spent 2 hours talking. So that's the common thread.
Okay.
They have given me a channel. They're listening.
I could see that.
And they're having a conversation. Nobody is dictating shit to me. I can promise you. They are literally interested. Now, they want money too, right? Because they know they need to win.
True.
But I see, and they're young and motivated.
Yeah.
Just like you.
It's also, thank you, Gary. It's also kind of interesting too, and I've talked about this a lot on my show, but how the Republicans and conservatives, there's been this swing of how they used to be the ones that everything was taboo and immoral. We're trying to control you and uptight, and more now swinging to the place you're talking about of open and, in some regards, a little bit more free thinking and not being, canceled, so to speak, and all that. But Gary, I miss you already. I mean, I sadly have to let you go. And I don't know why you said, why is it so silly, the thought of you being a trillionaire? Isn't it all just like limitless and in our hologram and what we choose to I have a goal to have 1 million, but I will put it on record by January 2026. So isn't I've been reading a lot of these financial business advice, but isn't it all just the limitlessness in our heads?
Well, if I live long enough, I will be a trillionaire.
I'm just saying.
Inflation, the degradation of the U.S. dollar alone will make me become a billionaire. It's just, I have to live a long time. Probably actually, if I live to be probably maybe 120, 130, my kids most certainly could become trillionaires. And there's probably already trillionaires on the planet, which is why you ought to buy Bitcoin, sister.
Oh, I'm on it, Gary. I told you.
My last message to your audience.
Yes.
This is Gary Simple.
Yes, sir.
2,516 billionaires. They deploy, 1% of them deploy $1 billion each. That's 25 or 30 people. Mm-hmm. You have 406,000 ultra wealthy people that are worth $30 to $50 million or more in liquid net worth. They deploy $250,000 one time, never to do it again. And there's 62 million millionaires, which you'll be one by 2026. And they will deploy $2,500, which you have more than $2,500 already. Okay. If you run that analysis alone and divide that number by $62,000, you're going to come up with that demand alone is more Bitcoin than exists or will ever exist.
Yeah.
Just that group of people. No people in Africa get it. No ETF gets it. You ain't got any, okay? My mom's not got any. Just that group. I'm telling you, less than 1% of that group right there has bought Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And the 2,516 billionaires, and I know you'll say, hey, shut up, I got to go home or whatever. The 2,516 billionaires, 250 of them will buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Each. Watch. They will each buy $1 billion. Because if you've got $8 billion, you're going to look at this and go, you're telling me this thing could go to 13 million from 60, but it could only go from 60 to 0. So I can only lose 60, but I could make 13 mil? Look, I have $8 billion. I'll take one, stick it over there and go, shit, my life doesn't change. It doesn't change a bit. In fact, I probably don't even need to move the money because I got so much leverage, the ability to borrow money. Guarantee you there'll be 250 people, about $1 billion worth of Bitcoin at this price right here.
Yeah, because if those of you who don't know Bitcoin, there's a finite amount. So AKA get on it and get rich, bitch. Yeah, Gary, second, just like that. Godspeed, Gary. Here's the plan. Sadly, like I said, I have to let you go. You're going to come to Nashville. We're going to have a great time. And I say you come back after the election and we'll do part 2.
Might want to schedule that. I think there's going to be a little bit of everybody. Either way, baby. Either way. I'm there. I'm there either way, okay? If come out, I'll dress up in an insane asylum outfit. Thorazine stuck in my neck if it's Kamala. And if it's Trump, I'll bring a bottle of tequila and I'll show up in Nashville.
If it's Kamala, I'll send you a postcard from whatever deserted island I'm on, and I'll
that's not very cool. That's it.
Don't do it like that. Thank you, Gary Cardone.
Okay, thank you, sister. Appreciate it.
So much fun. Bye.